Hello, my name is Neil Cairns and I'm the Applications Manager here at GSS. I want to talk to you today a wee bit about the Sensors Validation Board, or SAB as it's known for short. So this is the board here itself, and we'll talk a wee bit more about the details further on. So what benefits does it give you? It gives you the ability to control it from the PC, gives you some real-time graphing of CO2 recorded from the sensor, and also, in addition to that, from the board itself, we can get temperature, pressure, humidity, etc. It allows you to speak to a variety of our sensors depending on which interface module you've got, and it does that in either UART, which is standard for most of our sensors, or I2C, where it's appropriate. This allows you to make real-time changes to the setup of the sensor, and it has the ability to log data, which you can import into Excel or other options to view. So this is the board itself in close-up, so I'll take a wee bit of time to go through what we've got here. So the sensor is obviously plugged into this module in the middle, and we've got a row of connectors along the top here, which allows you to take out signals from the sensor. So you can have things like supply the power separately from your electronics. You can have just the serial comms lines going out to your system, whether it's UART or I2C, and where appropriate for the sensor, if there is a voltage output or something like that, you can have that output to here. And these switches down the side here allow you to toggle between whether these pins are active or whether the board itself is active speaking to the sensor. So there is a processor on this board mounted on the bottom, which handles all the communications with the sensor and also back to the PC. There's two methods to power this board. You can either plug it in to a USB into your PC, which is the most common way to do it. But if you're wishing to kind of develop your system without the PC, you can power it from a DC power supply, just with a standard DC socket down here. And that allows you to have it standalone and perhaps have stuff interfacing into your own electronics. There are some other buttons down here which are, depending on the sensor, will do various things. For instance, for blink sensors, it can allow you to instigate a measurement process, etc. But more of that in the manual. So when you get the box, you open it up, you'll get the parts all like this. So sensor on its own, a adapter for the SAB itself, and also a cable. There'll also be a link to allow you to download the software, etc., to run on your PC. So just a wee bit about fitting the sensor in, and it's different for every sensor type, but they're all generically the same, and there is an identification on the module as to how to orientate the sensor correctly. And you can see the outline on the green PCB of the module, and if you just orientate the sensor in the same way, click it into the bottom edge of that, and press it down onto the spring contacts, close the wee latches at the top, and that's it, fitted. Just like that. And then with that, you plug it into the board, and you've got that. So you're almost there to be up and running. And if you use the USB and plug it into a PC, at that point, if you've never used this before, it may not recognize it, and you may need to add drivers or allow it to install drivers for you. It's an FTDI chip on the board to handle the USB comms, which is very common, so you may well already have it in your PC. If not, it should actually download automatically. And again, if that fails, we'll just, in the manual, we show you how to actually get the drivers directly from the manufacturer's website. So on the application itself, once you've got it running on the PC, it's fairly straightforward. So we connect to a COM port. So it's a virtual COM port in reality. And you'll need to decide or determine which is correct COM port if you've got more than one COM port on your PC. That either just a process elimination or understanding what you've already got running. Once you've connected to the board directly, you'll then have to select the sensor type. So you can see this one is set up for a Cozer Blink, but it can be any of their other sensors available. Select the sensor range here, which just actually just really sets the vertical axis on this graph. You've then got some modes you can set for the sensor, so whether it's stopped, and this depends on the sensor type as well. So for LP product and Cozer product, there's generally 3 modes. You'd have stopped, continuous and polling mode, which are just what they say. It's for blink and other sensors, we have different setup. So they can either be manually polled, where you actually have to either click on the button here or press the button on the ACB itself to instigate a measurement cycle, or you can have it do it automatically at a preset time. In this case, it's set up to run every 15 seconds, and that will just log data onto the chart. You can then have a temperature, pressure, humidity, etc., all been logged as well, and you can set up a similar sort of method as to whether you do a one-time or a repeating measurement of these. All the non-sensor data for like temperature, pressure, etc., are all recorded down in this area of the application. Other basic information about the sensors over here. So you've got like the filter setting, if it's a blink, number of pulses, the mode it's in, etc. All this becomes more apparent once you've actually get to use it yourself. One other feature which I can't demonstrate here, but I'm tell you about, is a terminal window, which from this pops up a terminal window which allows you to monitor the comms between the board and the sensor, which is a good way to get a good grip of what's happening with the sensor and understand the interface better. We can actually record data as well, so you can click on here and record. It just records it as a comma separated text file, which you can import into Excel or other applications. Most of these other things are self-explanatory, so I'll just skip past them. So the benefits which we've kind of been through, but we'll just reiterate them. So it's quick to get up and running, literally 2 minutes you can be going. It gives you a kind of breadboard facilities that you can integrate gradually into your own design. You can measure the power consumption, etc., of the sensor, and as well as monitoring the environment locally. It gives you real-time changes to the sensor. You can change the filter, etc., or various other parameters. And that's really it. If you want, there is a more comprehensive guide and live demo, which is available on our website at www.gassensing.co.uk and /company/webinars, and you'll find other webinars there as well. So hopefully you'll get all the information you wish from there. But any problems with that, please feel to contact us. And unfortunately, if you're watching this, you will know that we're not having a live sensor test this year, but hope to see you next year. Thank you for your time.